Maple.
Here.
Stankowski.
Here.
Zebro.
Here.
And Addison, student rep. All present.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, I'll seek a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve. I'll second it.
We have a motion by Gorman, a second by Zebro to approve the agenda. Any updates or corrections, deletions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, student report.
Good evening, everyone. Recently in our tech department, we got $150,000 of equipment waiting to be installed. All arrived and paid for with mainly grant money. Skills USA had a competition at the end of the month in Madison. FCCLA has returned from our state conference with amazing results. We're all very proud of the students and the club for doing such a great job, with 9 students receiving silver medals in their events, with 6 of them qualifying for nationals in Denver in July. Also, 1 student received a gold medal and also qualified. Now we are working on setting up a trip to nationals in Colorado. Over in sports, our girls track team won state on Saturday in Whitewater with the 4x400 with a best time of 4 minutes and 9.83 seconds. Pretty good since it's the first year they've all ran together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a note on that state victory. That was the best in any division in the state, including the largest schools in the state.
That's great. All right. Item 6A is 6 is special presentations. We have a 4K presentation this evening.
Yeah, we have Principal Schmidt here. Gentlemen.
And I would ask the board members to hold your questions until their report is completed. So take your notes and
Can you help me with that, Christy? Good, thank you. Okay. Just gonna set this here. All right. Awesome. All right, good evening. Hi, Jolyn Schmidt, elementary principal, also 4K principal, and then I have
I'm Heather Tracty. I teach 4-year-old kindergarten at the elementary school.
So we're here to share some of our 4K program highlights and really do our best to answer any questions that you might have about our program. We wanted to start out with our guiding principles that we just highlight really at all of our 4K sites. And you can see we have kind of with our revamped website, you can see kind of all these are listed on here. All of our sites really hone in on these principles, feel that these are really what make 4K kind of go, and really highlight those in their program. So I'm going to get started with, oops, sorry there, thank you. We'll really touch a little bit about our current programming and kind of take you back a little bit to where we started to up until present day, discuss our team, what we're unified, what we're kind of tight with our program, and then also really our strengths, what's going well with our 4K program. We've also identified some needs, what we can focus on, so how we can grow in the future, and then our goals moving forward with our 4K program. So we'll go ahead and start with kind of our where we came from.
Yeah. So in 2008, Mosinee School District decided to start 4K within the district and partnering with community sites. They started at Kidstown, which had its own separate building, Storybook Kids, Mosinee Preschool, Head Start at the KM Check Center, and then St. Paul's. They wanted, to be comparative and competitive with the other districts in the surrounding area, and saw the need for 4K in the district. In 2016, enrollment numbers increased and community sites were not able to support all the students at that time. So if we have 4K and it's a public program, we have to offer it to everyone. We can't say, oh, we're full, sorry, you can't come. At the time, we had Storybook Kids, Mosinee Preschool, Head Start, and St. Paul's. All the sites were asked to add a section, and they all declined, and this is when we opened the site at the elementary school. We actually started after September 1st, but we caught up, so we were all good. In 2017-18 school year, the board approved a permanent 4K site at the elementary school. Our numbers were capped at 15 students per class because we didn't want to take away from the community sites. I believe the next year St. Paul's location closed, and so our current locations are Mosinee Preschool, Storybook Kids, Head Start, and the elementary school. So these are community sites, and there are different levels of partnership within a 4K program. So Mosinee Preschool and Storybook Kids and Head Start are all at a level 3 partnership, which means that the district pays them the money, and then they provide the site, the location, and they provide their own teacher. The model 2, which we don't have, would be a school district employee within a community site. So the teacher would be paid by the district, and then they work there. And then a level 1 partnership is what I currently am at the Mosinee Elementary School district teacher district building. We follow, all the 4K sites follow the school district calendar. Our school days are Monday through Thursday, and we have the half-day option, so we have a morning and an afternoon section.
Wonderful. So we wanted to highlight our 4K team and just, take a look at our sites here. So we have Mosinee Preschool, which Vicki is here. Hello. And Linda is one of our teachers there as well. And then Storybook Kids, we have Melissa Holtz, who will be maybe joining us later. And then Monica is one of our teachers there. And then Head Start, Andrea is our director, and then Michaela is our teacher, and I don't think Michaela's here tonight. Okay. Mosinee Elementary School, you've met us, and then we have our plethora of specialists who really help support our programming at all of our sites. So we have Steph Pittman here, we have Casey Negoshin, Katie Craig, and Amy Kerntop. So really a wonderful, well-rounded team. And then we wanted to also highlight what is happening at all of our sites. So Heather, if you want to.
Yep, so all of our classes are taught by a licensed teacher, and most have an assistant within the classroom. It's based upon numbers and sites and all that. All of the 4K programs, each class gets to go on 2 field trips per year that the district pays for the buses. So we're just like all the elementary classrooms. All the 4K sites have transportation services. Special education services are available for all students with IEPs. Our curriculum resources are provided by the school district. We'll touch on that in a bit. We also get learning materials from our 4K budget, so we work together, we pick those out, we have great things. All the 4K teachers meet on Fridays to collaborate, and we have our specialists there as well to help us with any questions. We have technology supplied and supported through the district, so we have smart boards, and we've had iPads, and we can ask for help as needed. And we also administer common assessments and use the same report card amongst us. So we assess 3 times a year and do a report card. And we also work on common outreach. So this year we had sledding and swimming, and we're looking at a school outreach activity in the fall, and we're really trying to work together through those things. There's just a fun picture of the kids playing on the sensory table. And this is our new curriculum resource. You approved this, I believe, a couple of meetings ago?
Last
month.
week.
Okay.
Yep.
And we are going to be getting it this week or early next week. It is on its way. So it's play-based, it's comprehensive, and includes a bunch of materials. So it's all math, science, reading, social studies, all those good things all together. It's evidence-based and aligns with WEMOS and the Head Start standards. That was really important to us. It's authentic literature with multicultural and diverse stories. So it's through Scholastic, and there are still good stories that we can typically find through, Scholastic book orders and things, so the kids can get their hands on them as well. It's easy for the teachers to use with online resources. Our current Curriculum is retired, so we don't have that option for online resources right now. And then there's the family engagement piece that's woven through that. So there's an online component for families and things that we can send home to count with in our outreach hours.
All right, I'd like to touch on some of the strengths of the program. So one of the things that we wanted to highlight was our schedule. We feel that is developmentally appropriate. Our curriculum resource is really built around a 4 to 5 day week. So having students with us 4 days a week, although it may be the half day, there is actually more instructional time that we're getting in a week versus if we had them like a full day, because we would need to incorporate lunch, rest time, breaks. So having that full 4 days with them, or the half days of 4 days a week, really works within that curriculum. And then it also really helps with building high leverage routines and kind of supporting the best learning environment. This kind of just highlighted, I know there was some questions on schedules and what that looked like, each site, kind of how that's compared, and really the sites, when you look at like Mosinee preschool schedule, you look at Storybook schedule, and you compare it to MES's schedule, very similar. The teacher really is with the children for the the entire time.
Yep.
So from start to finish, the teachers with the children, they all have kind of these big experience or these learning times, and that's what's how the curriculum refers to those kind of learning times. And then they have some social skills embedded within the day as well. But their schedules look very similar no matter where the child is attending the site. So just wanted to highlight that as well. If we look at our community outreach, this is really exciting to start to kind of bring back some of these opportunities. After the pandemic kind of put a damper on that for a few years, families were really just looking to make those connections with other families. So we really look to have that 87.5 hours of outreach throughout the school year. That's done through a variety of ways. That might be materials that are given to the families that they can do with their children at home, to events such as like the sledding event that we put on where we invited families in and they were able to meet other children, other moms and dads, so those positive interactions. And then just some fun. We are continuously collaborating, like Heather had mentioned. We meet every Friday. Our 4K teachers meet and we discuss really where we're at with curriculum, where we're at with assessments, any needs moving forward, plan those different outreach activities together. It's really a wonderful time for the teachers to be able to connect. And then bi-monthly, we've been meeting as directors to kind of take a look at where are we at with programming, and how do we move forward in a positive way. So that's been happening bi-monthly. And then summer and in-service days, just wanted to highlight, those aren't really required from our outside sites, but we always invite them to those times, and it's been nice, like the Leader in Me initiative that we're starting with the district. Many of the 4K teachers from the other sites joined us for that training. So we'll be always offering those opportunities, and however it works within their scheduling, they will attend. We also just wanted to play on the strengths of each site because each site is really unique. Mosinee Preschool has been operating for 50 years. There's a rich history involved with Mosinee Preschool. It's a very caring and close-knit community feel. We have Head Start, which really provides services for students that we really aren't able to provide at our other locations, so some kind of unique needs being met there. They also do have a full day program that's a little bit different with Head Start.
Yep.
So, and then Storybook Kids, we have the piece of the childcare option that they do offer at Storybook. And then, of course, a developmentally appropriate, caring and safe environment, and a strong family engagement piece. You guys do a lot of wonderful things with families. And then, of course, Mosinee Elementary. Really just the unique piece about Mosinee Elementary, there's an opportunity to participate with kind of older grade levels that you may not have at the other locations. So some of those mentoring opportunities. And some families like the convenience of the kids attending like the same school if they have siblings. And then, of course, just not that there aren't resources available at all sites, but sometimes it's a little bit more readily accessible when we have just the sheer amount of staff right within our building. So, all right. Did you want me to keep going? Yeah. Okay. So we identified the areas of focus, and these are kind of the three that we wanted to just draw attention to. And so, childcare options. That's something that we continually hear is that need for that wraparound care. And I've been working closely with Storybook, and we're reaching out to different childcare agencies, trying to brainstorm ideas on how we can provide that care for our kids. One of the things that Missy had brought up from, sorry, the mouse is being a little, just shared with us from Storybook is Anago does this child care partnership with the Anago School District, the Anago Child Care Center, and this was something that we just have had conversations around. Could this be something that could potentially benefit our school district employees and our kids? So looking at the possibility, could we do something like this where we had a partnership with a child care facility such as Storybook and maybe even others, where the district could potentially pay a certain monthly fee, and then they would entail then give spots for employees and then a discount to our families. So if Mosinee School District partnered with them, then they would, that would be a benefit to our employees. So something to think about and consider. We wanted to at least bring that to the board just to kind of, you know, let you know that we're having conversations around that. We're trying to get creative in ways that we can try to support these child care centers, but then also help out employees, because we know that child care is sometimes a major challenge for families.
Yeah, just to jump in, Jolene had brought that up to me several weeks ago, and there were several meetings in the background about that model, including my having conversations directly with Anago and their superintendent and their business manager. So we are deep in looking into the idea. And also I've talked for about a half hour with Brian Bailey at the YMCA. They do a lot of 4K programming in Marathon County. So we had substantial discussions, and we're going to have more. So this was a very interesting way at it, and we're doing a lot of learning about it right now.
Thank you. So we're exploring those options, and the other piece that we wanted to draw light to was just ways to boost enrollment. We've been working on trying to get the word out that it is enrollment time for 4K, 5K through social media, through the use of like brochures, looking at newspapers, you know, ways that we can get that message out. But we're continuing to put that out there. Right now, our numbers are a little bit lower than where we would think they would be right now, or we would hope, but I'm confident that we'll have more enroll here in the coming month or two. I guess that's not as uncommon. Sometimes families wait a little bit closer to the school year. So working on ways to just really spread the word so we can get a clear picture of overall enrollment numbers. And then community input, a couple pieces that we're looking into is reaching out potentially to open enrolled out students and kind of trying to figure out the why. So if they're choosing to go to 4K at another district, is it because their parent works there? Is it the child care piece? Why are they choosing that open enrollment out? So looking into that, and I know the board had mentioned a community survey around 4K needs. it's something that we're definitely open to. I'm not at the point where we're ready to put that out yet, but I think that would be an important piece as we look at improving the program. Are we meeting the needs that the community is looking for in a 4K program? And then lastly, our goals as we move forward.
Yeah, so we have our professional development on our new curriculum resources. So we are going to be unboxing our new curriculum soon, and we'll get our hands on that, and we'll do some summer professional development with figuring out our schedules, how the new curriculum works. I'm definitely setting up our classroom and restructuring everything. We're continuing to look at different childcare options, as Jolynn mentioned, and then we're continuing to expand our outreach opportunities. So working together as a 4K team to do different 4K events for our families, either on those Fridays when we don't have students, we do have lots of meetings, but either on those Fridays or doing evening events, a combination so that we can hit all families and their needs and what works best for them. So yeah, lots of fun things ahead.
I think we're kind of at a point, at our ending point. Any questions now? We can open it up. Any questions that you have? Yes.
I may have missed it, but what is our student population per section?
Per class, you mean?
Class, mhm.
Sure. It does vary. At MES, it's capped at 15.
Yeah, I currently have 14 in each class.
And then at some of our sites,
We're 13 to 18 depending on an 8 or not. It's because of state licensing, you have to stick to a certain ratio. So it has to be either 13 or 2 staff. So then we can go up to 18 to 20, 2 staff.
So the max is 20.
Yeah.
mhm.
And at Mosinee preschool, we do, right now, we're capping it at 15. We have 2 morning classes and 2 afternoon classes, and then if we needed to go more, we could, like, if we needed to do.
But at the
overabundance.
partnering site, it's based upon, those numbers are set based upon the space within the room. So daycare
Right.
licensing says you can only have this many kids
Right,
per this
right.
amount of space.
Correct,
So-
no matter how many aides are in the room.
Correct.
Right, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Now, when you say you meet on Fridays, all of the various places are meeting in one place?
Yeah.
And where do you meet?
We rotate. So sometimes it's within my classroom. We've been to Storybook Kids. We've been to Mosinee Preschool. We're rotating amongst the sites. So we can't meet at Head Start just because they have class on Fridays. But their teacher has been coming to our meetings. So.
Okay.
And we've done a book study on our Fridays with Dr. Pittman. To work on different things. So.
So I just want to clarify in terms of the parent survey, there hasn't been one yet, but you're open to that.
Yes, there has. I haven't been a part of administering that. I know there's been parent surveys in the past, like some information has been shared with me, like 2019 maybe is one that rings a bell, so there has been some given to families over the years, but we're definitely open to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I know we requested one last year, but you weren't here. But I think we should do one as part of continuous process improvement and better service to the families and the students, that we should do one at least once a year. So if we could do that, I think that would be wonderful.
And I guess, just to ask the board, are we looking for surveying current 4K families, or are you looking at opening it up to like the entire Mosinee community? I guess I'm wondering, just to help us, or help me look at kind of narrowing this down. Do you guys have thoughts around that? Like what information we're wanting to gather?
Peter brought up in ours, because we had something that the numbers are so low this year.
Well, yeah, Julie brought that up.
Okay, and that I don't know, and the numbers are so low, and if you ran a survey, if you asked the right questions, we may find out. And I would say, like you said, I'm not in administration at all, but wouldn't it be relevant to the children coming up into this and finding out what the parents' needs are or wants? As far as, do they want all day? Do they want half a day? Do they need childcare or do they not need childcare?
And in the enrollment form that's being put out there, there are questions about what they need as far as like the childcare piece, the transportation piece, and there's also like a open line, like any other thoughts or needs that you would help you or help your child succeed. So that has been kind of put out to all families with that, you know, for 4K. It's not done in a survey, it's more the enrollment piece.
And then with that, when do you put that out there? With enrollment? I'm assuming that's to enroll your
Yes,
child and then fill that out?
Yep, there's like a form that goes along with it that they can indicate those factors.
And I'm just wondering, like, with the numbers being low, to be proactive, is there questions we should ask as why? You know, like you said in your report, why are they going other places?
Right.
And it might be as simple as their parent works there and, you know, but I think these are kind of good information to have.
But we don't, I mean, am I correct to understand, for 4K, we don't know who those kids are, like,
Right.
Correct.
they're anonymous to us, like,
Correct.
Right.
I mean, generally, it's by the time they hit kindergarten, we get an idea of like, how big will that graduating class potentially be, because it could be super small, it could be super large, and you have to be flexible enough to deal with whatever that number comes in at.
Right.
'Cause we haven't had the exposure to them up to that point.
So the thought around kind of the why piece was reaching out to those open enrolled out families to try to gather that why. But I mean, we're open to ideas and thoughts around that, but you are correct in saying, I mean, we don't know who those children are until they're coming.
Unless they have siblings. and
Correct,
you know they're
correct.
coming out.
Yep.
Because that's why I'm even wondering how you know the numbers are gonna be so low.
Well, because they already started in.
So we started enrollment, we've pushed this out to, you know, Mosinee, through the Mosinee School District, you know, skyward messaging, through social media, and then brochures to the community, just tried to push it out in any way that we have been able to, messaging on billboards, thank you. You know, so all of those ways to try to just get the word out. In the link, you know, that's been in there. So it gives specific instructions to go to the website, and then these are your steps to enroll. So we do have open enrolled out information, you know, so that is something we could take a little closer look at.
And I do think this board knows from previous years, we kind of have a surge sometimes right at the end, don't we?
Right.
So,
Yeah. When
like you
school
said,
supplies come
especially
out,
we're,
then they kind of go, oh,
Right.
it's time to register.
And I think to answer Jolene's question about what she's looking from us as far as what kind of questions or who to hit, well, everything, word of mouth is a lot. So if you're hitting more people, it's better, because you're gonna get the people that might be related that has, you know, I think some parents just don't realize that we don't go looking for them. They're supposed to enroll their kids. So if they don't have a sibling and this is their first child.
Right.
We
So
did
you
talk
might-
about putting brochures, like maybe like at, you know, concession stands at like, you know, softball and baseball,
Oh,
sporting
sporting
events.
soccer
Yep.
things, because if those kids are in those events, or if they have
Right.
siblings, you know, just trying to do it that way. So we're trying to be creative and get those students.
First child, they don't know 4K is.
Right.
right,
Yeah,
they should, but.
right, and they might not know when to register, like,
I think we talk about the idea that the numbers are down or low. I
Yeah,
think people
that's-
said
yeah,
the
I
numbers
know.
are low. But we don't actually know that they're low, they're
No,
just
right.
down from prior years.
Up to this point. Right.
Understood.
Yes.
But maybe we are right in statistical percentage terms.
Correct.
We're right on track with prior years. And to me, that would be the biggest potential reason for prospectively surveying. But I think we jumped to the conclusion, well, the numbers are low. You know, maybe they're right where our population is or supports it.
Yeah, I don't, like you said, I have no idea.
I think your best, it seems to me that the best initial target audience are the open enroll out families.
Try to gather a why, yeah.
Seems that way to me.
Well, we've talked about that before too, like trying to figure out, is there a reason or is it just purely logistical, right?
Convenience.
I work in Point, so I take my kids to Point,
Yeah.
you know, what that is.
Daycare.
Was it? Yeah,
Or
daycare,
daycare.
yeah, and the daycare, I think this presentation was great. I think, you know, there's it's good to see the variety of the different sites and how they each, you know, have their own niche kind of to them. The collaboration is great to see, you know, amongst them, because it's kind of like, there's been, since my kids started to now, like a you know, a transition where it's kind of, the wheels are starting to get put together, and it's kind of like this cohesive unit, and I think that's awesome. I would be interested to see what the implications would be to, and you know, I've talked about this before, but to make them district employees, then the money that we pay to those sites, would that become the school district's you know, and Heather kind of briefly noted, you know, there's a tier 3, a tier 2, and a tier 1. What would the financial cost be? What would the benefit be to see, like, okay, if we did this instead, you know, we would pay them this and the district would keep this. And so we, you know, I think that would be helpful to kind of see laid out. And then also the childcare piece, adding that in with, you know, with, well, how would that, I guess, factor into the entire equation? I mean, it's, you guys put in a lot of work, and I think there's still stuff to do, but I think you've got a really good edge on where it could go.
Any other questions or comments about the presentation?
All I gotta do is my hat's off to all you ladies working with these young kids. I got 2 grandchildren and they work the hell out of me.
It's like working with 80-year-old men.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Christy, do I give this?
Yeah, you're right, hopefully, yeah.
Item 6B, AP, Advanced Placement and Dual Credit Courses presentation.
Yeah, I'm going to take this presentation. If there are any questions, Mr. Greminger is here to answer questions that you might have. As I did send an email to all the board members, Mr. Halverson was going to be here, but I did excuse him tonight. He's continuing to rehab and doing great. We're glad he came back early. Just prom was this past weekend. We're just trying to give people breaks where they can. So in terms of the dual credit, we'll start with this part of the slide right here. So there's going to be 3 different graphs that you can see. We'll get to the first graph here. This is dual credit courses. So dual credit courses, the Mosinee School District leads the NTC Consortium schools again, with a savings of over $300,000 to district families. So obviously we have less students from DC Everest, but more credits taken and more credits earned. So great job for those students. Dual credit courses, just to explain the difference, those are courses being taught by our teachers that count as both college credit and also high school credit, okay? Oh, special thanks to our staff. That takes extra training, extra certification to get that done as well. So that's an important point as well. And you can note that as you go around the high school, you'll see dual credit course teacher. It's listed right outside of their door. So there's quite a few classes. This is a major positive for the entire Mosinee School District that we continue to lead the way with this, especially with the much larger districts around us. They do a good job too, but it's a major positive for our students, our families, and thank you to our staff for the extra work that they put in to maintain that level of teaching certification, which is NTC college level teaching certification, but also obviously their high school teaching certifications.
I have one quick question. Why is there a gap variance between credits taken and earned? Why are they not closer?
You have to get at least a C in the class to earn NTC credit.
Okay.
Ish, C-ish,
Some didn't.
right? Depending on the class.
So some didn't
That's
make
what I
it.
was.
That's true.
So the dollar amount would be based on earned.
Earned,
Yes.
yes. Good question.
And many of the kids take more than one.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the number
We
of
get our
students, it's
report,
great,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, there's not more questions. We'll move on to the youth apprenticeship slides. Same thing with youth apprenticeship. As it notes in the written part up top, youth apprenticeship is a little bit different. So this is hands-on learning in occupational areas and work sites at businesses in our community. And that's listed right up top there. So we partner with local businesses and receive accredited status for these apprenticeship certificates. So these apprenticeship certificates flow through the Department of Public Instruction. It's very similar to a driving certificate or that sort of thing. So there's an official certificate from the DPI once they get 450 successful work hours, which is listed right here on the sheet. So it takes a specially certified teacher to oversee this, to visit the sites, and to have these YA apprenticeships. So Mosinee has 67 students in this consortium, 67 YA completions, which is the highest in the NTC consortium. So we're excited about that as well. We have a very active program, and very thankful to Mrs. Swinick, I believe, right? Mrs. Swinick, for her work in that area.
One question I have is, how are we notifying the kids of this? Is this like a class that's offered? Is
Mr. Greminger?
Yeah, so when we have course registrations, they get notified. We have meetings for them at the beginning of the school year. We sign up a lot of kids at the beginning of the year and throughout the first semester. This is for juniors and seniors.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes students are making decisions about, am I gonna take a YA class, dual credit classes, or AP classes? You know, a lot of times it's how much can you fit in your schedule? You know, like my daughter's a senior, for example. She couldn't fit in a YA class, but dual credit she could. All right, if there's not any questions, we can slide down to AP exams. You can slide over and see that total number of AP students is 83. Number of AP exams, you have the data over the years. Completion rates had a very good year in 2022. We're coming up on AP exams right now. A lot of seniors, including mine, are nervous about their AP exams, which is the nature of being an AP student. So we'll see how we do, but at this point, about $110,000 in savings for all of these courses earned. What's the difference between advanced placement classes and dual credit? AP is through UW, is through a four-year university, whereas dual credit courses are through NTC. So it's a little bit different, but still, they're earning the same sort of college credit at the same time as earning high school credit. So all three of these items are extremely positive for the Mosinee School District, but most importantly for our students and parents.
Any questions? We learned in the instructional programs committee tonight that in the next couple of weeks, 173 exams will be administered. Up 40 for this school year compared to last year. Up 40, so.
And on a related note, thank you, Mr. Greminger, for being here, and congratulations on your move over to DC Everest. You will be missed. Thank you very much.
All right, item number 7, approval of the minutes from the March 14th, 2023 board meeting. Oh, sorry. Oh, I skipped right over.
I thought you
My stuff is right here. No, the plaques are right here. It was an error on my part. I'm sorry.
It's not gonna happen tonight.
It's all right.
Well,
Matt,
we
Mike,
worked
and Matt,
on it.
we love you guys.
Skip it, I'm still not
Matt,
for next
whatever.
month.
Item 6C, recognition and school board members.
Okay.
So we have a couple of plaques here and a folder to put it in, as well as a certificate. The first one reads, Certificate of Commendation is presented to Michael Kaiser in recognition for your service to the children in Wisconsin Public Schools 2008 to 2023, but in reality, 26 years of service. So thank you, Mike. And Mr. Barnes, Certificate of Commendation is presented to Matthew Barnes in recognition for your service to the children in Wisconsin Public Service 2016 to 2023. 7 years of service.
Hang that up, Matt.
I got a place for it.
And thank you to the Fab Lab and the staff in the Fab Lab and students in the Fab Lab for creating the plaques.
Pretty neat, they are.
So for creating the plaques.
Pretty neat.
You're number 26, Mike, I'm number 7, we should get t-shirts.
Now you should have gotten it.
When I sat down, I was wondering what NASCAR driver that was, so.
Michael Kaiser, yeah. Driver number 26.
Get off the road.
Oh, basketball players, Matt, huh?
That's kind of. All right. Any words you would like to share?
It's been fun.
Matt? Mike?
Close session.
Close. Mike, what about you?
It was, the change over the 26 years has been immense. All the different administrators I've worked with, there was 4 or 5, I forget. And each individual brought a different personality to the district. And how our district has grown. Even though the population of the student body is down somewhat, it still has been reflectively good. I cannot say much more than I appreciate the support I got from my constituents. And number one is our students that we work for and our support, teaching staff. We have a good staff, and I hope that continues. It's getting harder for them to do their job, but they keep trying. And I thank them very much.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now.
Now, item 7. My apologies.
I thought it was funny.
Approval of the minutes, 7A, regular Board of Education meeting, March 14th, 2023. Seek a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Zebro, second by Kaiser. Any questions or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 1 abstention. Item number 8 is the public forum. The public forum provides the public with the opportunity to ask questions about or address issues included on the school board meeting agenda. My understanding, we have one individual who has signed up to speak, Mr. Lesniak. You just identify yourself and your address and the issue you're planning to speak about.
Thank you very much. I totally understand the process. Dan Lesniak, 816 Spring Road, and I would like to take an opportunity to address an issue that was already brought up on the agenda, item 6C. And as a longtime teacher and union representative and community member of the district, I would also like to say thank you to both Mr. Barnes and Mr. Kaiser for their many years of great service to the students, families, staff, and community members of the district. As a board member, and especially sitting in your last meeting, it's a little bittersweet, I'm sure, in that feeling of you've done a lot of good things over the years, but this chapter's over. I'd just like to take a moment, and there are many things, many great things that both of you have done, but in watching you over the years, I want to take a moment to address one very quick thing that I noticed about each one of you individually. Mr. Barnes, one of the things that's very classic of a very strong, good, responsive board member is being open-minded in the discussions that are going on before you. And many times over the 7 years, I've seen where you could kind of gather what your thinking is, but then it changes based on discussion. Specifically, I remember maybe about 5-6 years ago when we were having a discussion about the science edition. And I remember you making the comment in the meeting that you came in prepared to vote against that addition. And through that discussion that happened with the board, you changed your mind. And that's very important for a board member to be listening and have that ability to change your mind on things. Mr. Kaiser, with all of the times I've seen you here at the board, one of the things that I've noted in your service is that you are very much here to look after and serve all of our district students. We have so many various learners that we work to serve as educators, and you want to see everybody move forward. And that has been made very clear in decisions and in things that you've brought up over the years. So to both of you, thank you very much, and enjoy a little time once a month when you would normally be here.
Yes.
And I hope you have something much more enjoyable or much different, some different pastime that you'll be taking part in. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Very nice.
That was nice, Danielle.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Item number 9 is the consent agenda. Seek a motion to approve.
Also move.
Motion by Kaiser, second by Barnes. Any issues that are being pulled?
We had that one item where you
Well,
vote?
right, but
Okay.
so we're pulling one item, to closed session.
Okay.
And we table?
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say, we tabled.
We postponed the,
That's what I was waiting
the contract amount, not the contracts, but the contract amount for 4K. Till next month, to get some comparables to the area.
Okay. So by voting yes on this motion and second, we are approving the actions of the committees.
Okay, yep, that's
So
correct.
we
Right.
don't have to have a separate
Okay,
vote
nope, that
on each of those items here.
correct.
Makes
sense.
Any other items?
Nope.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, committees. Item number 10, discussion and possible decision, the monthly voucher list. Seek a motion.
I can make the motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Zebro, a second by Hanson to approve the monthly voucher list. Any questions?
No.
Roll call, please.
Zebro,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bauman, Hess, Gorman,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Hermaning,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple,
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
All yes.
Thank you. Item 11 is acceptance of the monthly treasurer's report.
I'll make the motion to approve the monthly treasurer's report.
I'll second that, Kelly.
Motion by Zebro, second by Hanson. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hermaning,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple,
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
Zebro,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bauman. Yes. Gorman.
Yes.
All yes.
Thank you. I'm signing the voucher list. I'll send it around in a moment. Item number 12. I always have to double check because I have my papers from last week's meeting. Sometimes they change. Discussion, school board superintendent communications.
Yeah, I have a few items. The first one is the middle school commons continues to be a positive addition to our school district facilities. This is a reminder that's phase 1 of a 3-phase project. I do mention here that Ellis has continued to work with our subcontractors and are really making great progress on phase 2. Phase 2 is special education zones and pupil services zones. Special thanks to Mr. Kaiser, Steve Kaiser, for being directly involved in our regular assistance with this project. I was in there recently, as have several people. Drywall is up. A lot of the major pieces are already complete. It's exciting for Mr. Leitz's students who will be going into that zone sometime in May. Not going to put a date out there, but it will be in May in that zone. But we're excited about phase 2 coming to an end. Phase 3 will be in the summer. Phase 3 is music. A lot of changes in the music areas. Plus where Mr. Leitz is 3 classrooms that's going to be rebuilt for 8th grade teachers to come down out of the tower. So we're excited about that too, and so are they.
That'll be phase 3 in the summer. So everything is going along as planned. There was one little issue that I happened to be in the building when it occurred, but I didn't do it. It's okay, these sorts of things happen in construction. There was an inadvertent bump of a fire alarm.
Oh, yes.
And some people had heard about this, and I put it in Board Connect, but it actually exited both the high school and the middle school when that occurred. So we were able to get into the zone, and just based on there being actually 2 commons right now, technically, on the fire system, that took an extra 2 minutes to go, oh, it's actually in the construction zone, not the new commons. So it was an inadvertent bump. It caused the fire alarm to go off, but we got it adjusted. The only issue was it was a little cold out that day, no question about it. So that happens, but we got in pretty quick, I think within 5-6 minutes. Been working, yeah.
But you know it works.
It does.
You got everybody out.
I walked into the construction zone, Steve was already in there with, actually, Mr. Gruby was in there as well, that, you know, it's just an inadvertent bump.
Right, but I mean, it's like a drill.
Oh, yeah.
Can it be used as a drill?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've been working with several administrators, meeting with teachers on their salary placements. I think we're about a little over halfway done. We have some adjustments, and we did a timeline meeting today, actually. So I was working with Carla, Michelle, Rob. They were bringing me up to speed on some changes and adjustments. We anticipate being mostly done by the end of this week. So we're on schedule, meaning that contracts for teachers always go out mid-May. So mid-May, it's May 15th on or about, correct, Carla? Through June 15th. So those go out in Skyward. So that's always kind of been the end timeline. So we're quite a bit ahead of that. So we continue to work on that as recently as a couple-hour meeting this afternoon where Rob, Carla, and Michelle brought me up to speed on a lot of these, the work that's been going on. So I mentioned here the YMCA and a lot of what Joe Lynn had talked about with that program in Anago. That is a very interesting piece that I put a great deal of time into with the superintendent in Anago. It is very interesting. I was very curious about it, and I continue to have follow-up meetings with it. So working with Joe Lynn and others. Wausau Police. So Chief Grams and I have had several different conversations concerning the 2 additional police officers. We're delayed about 3 months from the previous timeline due to some budget constraints per the city administrator. I have offered varied types of financial support to the city of Mosinee from the district, already approved by the school board, to support this important safety move. So I have regular conversations with the chief. He's a good friend, and we'll continue to push on it. I know we're looking at scheduling a possible meeting in the near future of the ad hoc committee meeting. I floated an agenda out to the board president and Matt, and I did it thinking, oh yes, today is the last day for Matt. So I knew that, but it just hadn't clicked with me. So we'll get that around to whoever is next. Thank you to all the candidates who ran for the school board seats. Congratulations to Megan Stankowski, Kalanda Zebro, and Donna Kaiser. Thank you, Mike, for lending us your wife now. That's great.
Keep it in the family.
That's right.
He's gonna be watching basketball.
More babysitting.
More babysitting for you? Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, both of you. On their election to the Mosinee School Board, we have had contact with Kalanda Zebro and Donna Kaiser. They're going to be attending new member orientation, actually right before the reorganization meeting. So we thought it'd be good to meet at 5 o'clock on Monday, just to go through a regular onboarding for new board members in terms of policies and WASB information for new board members.
I believe that's on Wednesday, isn't it?
The reorganization is Monday at 6.
I'm talking about for the new board members, Wednesday in Marathon.
Right.
Yep, so it's not right the day before, it's,
Right.
yeah, okay, just clarifying that.
He's talking about for the 2 new board members, new board member in orientation.
Correct.
For our district only.
Yes, that's a Marathon, correct?
No.
Oh,
Here,
to
an
me.
hour
Oh, got
before,
it. Now
sorry.
I got it.
I just
Yep.
wanted to make sure.
No,
So-
you,
Oh, I know what
did.
you're talking
Yes,
about.
I
WASB.
did.
WASB.
Yeah,
Yes, so
that's,
are they gonna do the WASB? I mean, I know I'll bring that up, but is it necessary? Yeah, no, I didn't No, I was thinking Mosinee.
I understood. I was trying to be
I don't think
helpful.
Mosinee,
All
you know
about getting
that.
people pins.
How about with, oh, yeah, I got a lot of
She
pins.
has to turn hers in now.
Okay. So much for the pin.
I'm trying to do my job here, guys.
And on that note, special thanks to both Mike and to Matt. You guys have been awesome to work with. So, and you're both friends. So thank you very much for that, both of you.
You're welcome.
Speaking of that meeting, I know you're gonna talk about it later, but I remember Megan was on that call, on the call because it was during COVID.
Yes.
So there were no in-person ones, and I was on to talk about finance for WASB for the region. Megan had some really good questions, and
Okay.
it was before the first regular meeting. So,
Yep, okay, yeah, I, see, and thank you for explaining that to me, because it was going over my head that we did that, because it's been such a while since we did it, since we've had to, do it. So,
All right, item 13A, discussion and possible decision, acceptance of statement of the Board of Canvassers from the spring election.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
I forgot who was who. Gorman?
First, second.
Zebro, Gorman, sorry.
That's okay.
It was like a competition there.
Hey, it's like.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13B, discussion and possible decision, approval of the extended field trip, Six Flags Great American in Gurnee, Illinois, May of 2023.
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hanson, second by Kaiser. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13C, discussion and possible decision, approval of the extended field trip FCCLA National Conference in Denver in July.
I'll make motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Gorman, second by Barn. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13D, discussion and possible decision, approval of the Skills USA field trip in Madison this next week, apparently, April 2023. I forgot the date, but, okay. Is there a motion?
Also move.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kaiser, second by Zebro. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13E, discussion and possible decision, approval of the 2023 summer and fall start College Now and Early College Credit Program applications.
Yeah, there's a link inside of here. This is a standard approval for this meeting. We are recommending approval of this.
I'll approve, yeah, I'll second Pat's motion.
Who made the motion? Barnes. Barnes and Hanson, second. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13F, approval of the fee changes for the 2023-2024 school year.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll
Motion
second.
by Zebro, second by Gorman. Any questions?
What does that body structure and function relate to?
Actually, we actually have the teacher here today, but it's a science class. So it's like an and physiology class, anatomy and physiology.
Okay.
So Mrs. Natsky teaches that class.
Any
So,
questions? Oh, sorry, go
With
Jessica.
these fees, is this due to inflation? Because it seems almost every year we're increasing fees.
Yeah, I think Michelle kind of had all of these fees came in from the buildings through us, and they're just recommended, like behind the wheel, for example, we have switched vendors for behind the wheel. And so there's some fee changes there, probably inflationary.
Except for swimming.
Yeah, the lifeguarding piece, that just has to do with the change in how they want that to be paid for.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's only for materials that is actually pertaining to that student. We're not covering other things with that. So as those rise, these fees rise.
I understand, I just
Yeah.
hate to see it passed on to the families more than necessary.
Are you making a proposal to amend the motion and second to freeze or change the prices?
I just had questions as to why it seems that we're always increasing.
Okay,
these,
no problem, I
generally
just
speaking.
wanted to make sure. All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I,
I do it.
8-1. Matt?
Um,
We already
regarding-
voted.
I understand that. Do we have a process within our district for families that have a kid that wanna take an art class and don't have the funds? I mean, I understand
Yes.
driver's ed might be different, but do we have a subsidy type program or a way in which students can still take a class if they can't afford to?
Or a waiver, actually, in some cases.
Sure.
Michelle's saying yes.
Yes, we,
Okay.
And that also, I believe, applies even to driver's ed, does it not?
I would think so.
I thought
Yeah.
it did.
we,
I thought we talked about this once.
we had talked about, it. There's, just got an email today and I set up a check presentation coming from a local business that'll be donating money just for that cause.
Great.
And then we'll be applying it to district accounts and then distributing it based on need. So that check presentation was thrown in my calendar for 2 weeks,
Next Thursday.
next Thursday. Thank you, Mr.
Nice.
Manager.
That makes me feel better about Jessica's concerns.
Okay, thank you. Good questions, good discussion. Item 13G, approval of the elementary, middle, and high school handbooks for the 2023-2024 school year.
Yeah, I've looked through these and there's no major changes, just page changes, some name changes. In other words, new people in new positions.
I have changes and questions for each handbook.
Okay, well,
You wanna start with elementary?
sure.
I don't know how we want to proceed. Is that some kind of motion maybe?
Yeah, we should have a motion and a second first.
I'll also move.
Motion by Kaiser,
I'll second.
second by Bauman, to approve the elementary, middle, and high school handbooks for next school year. Questions about the elementary handbook first, Mrs. Bauman.
Okay, page 7 where it talks about tardy. Oh, scroll down a little.
Tardy guidelines.
There, okay,
Tardy
so
guidelines.
where it talks about where students who arrive between 7:55 and 8:10 are tardy, arrive after 9 AM are considered absent, what are they after 8:10 to 9? Is that still tardy? Or what does that mean?
I would have to talk to the administrators and get back to you.
Okay, that's a question. I mean, it just seemed like, okay, it was just odd. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
I do, it seems to me that they would be tardy, but
then
not
should it say-
absent.
But shouldn't it say 7:55 to 9 they're tardy?
And then after 9, they're absent for the.
Rather than that there's a
Yeah.
covered gap
So-
in there otherwise.
So habitual truancy law, it's really a moot point. Someone could be tardy for 5 consecutive days, and you would still, just on a tardy for 5 minutes, can still be technically considered habitually truant according to the state statutes. So that, when you go to the end of it, if you skip a whole day or if you're tardy for a whole day, the way the state looks at that is it's all or part of a given day with respect to habitual truancy statutes. So that's how a principal would look at it.
I agree with Amy, though, it clears up that gray area.
Where it talks about report cards, page 12. Last sentence of report cards, where it talks about,
In lieu of report cards.
yeah, so, and as I was reading through the, these handbooks or whatever, are we not mailing out report cards after semesters anymore?
No.
So we don't even mail a report card anymore?
My kids bring one home in a manila with
Right.
and you have to sign,
Mhm.
sign it, and then you send the empty envelope back to school, and then we'll say quarter one, quarter two. I don't know if that's for all, but at my kids at the elementary school, that's how I get them.
Is it like that at, I mean, okay, now that's elementary. In high school, are we mailing them out? Or are
I
we
do
not
get
mailing them anymore?
I get notifications, I think at semester.
Okay, when I mean notifications, is that a mail or is that email?
Mail.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we're still mailing them out. Just because when I was reading through, it kind of sounded like they weren't being mailed at the high school level anymore. And I'm not sure if that's the case or not, if I just
No,
misunderstood it.
I received mine last.
Did you? Okay, okay, I
Yeah,
just
so
wanted
did
to
I.
make sure.
I
Okay.
just- But it's the frequency of it. I mean, if we're talking about like quarterly reports,
Oh, yeah.
I would say no.
Yeah, right,
But the
right,
semester at the high school, I have received semester report cards as a
Okay.
high school parent for 4 years.
Yeah, and I was used to too.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the middle school handbook, the table of contents needs to be completely redone. All the page numbers are wrong.
Which building? Elementary?
Middle,
Middle.
middle school.
Sorry.
So someone needs to print out that table of contents and update all of the page numbers. That would clear up a couple of things. And to just kind of clean it up, I've noticed when I was reading through it that there's a lot of double, triple spaces between words and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was just like, I don't know,
Grammatical.
formatting.
Is that on the table of contents or within the?
Within the whole document of the middle school. But the whole table of contents is
The
messed
table
up.
of contents typically is a link to a header in the document, and it just needs to be updated. And that's probably what happened, is it didn't get
Yeah.
updated, once any revisions were made.
So I guess this is actually page 13 of the middle school. It says 11, but it's really 13. Where it talks about, is it promotion, placement, retention?
It's page 11.
No, it's actually 13, it's not 11 though. 13. Where are 13? This is still middle school, if you're in the high school.
That's the middle school one.
Okay. Okay, so we took out a line, and I'm kind of wondering why we took the line out. It says this promotion policy is reviewed with all students at the beginning of the school year and posted to the district website. We took out reviewed with all the students at the beginning of the school year. Is there a reason why we aren't gonna do that?
I am not sure.
It's just a question. And just another format thing, it's like sometimes throughout the whole middle school, sometimes they use periods, like if you have a series, sometimes there was no period at the end of line, sometimes there was. Just need to be consistent. The school map, I think, needs to be updated in the middle school handbook. I believe it's still the old school map. Shows the cafeteria where it used to be, not where it is now.
Yeah, this will be for the 20, okay, 24, correct.
Yeah, there. So that, I believe that's not accurate, that level. The only change I have in the high school is a page number, where it said page 14 is the student services, it's actually 15, page 15. That might be in the table of contents or something. Student services. I don't know, I just have, I marked it where page 14 should have been 15.
Got it.
So I don't know,
Like where it goes?
yeah. Okay, that's 14, yeah, okay, so scroll down to 15. Yeah, so there, so that was where the student service, so I don't know, that was the only thing I seen in the high school.
The elementary one, those times of tardy and absent, those are exactly the same as the current handbook.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
mean
know.
we shouldn't get an answer.
Right.
But it was nice to see that there was the addition of when does the school day end, and also the daycare opportunities put in there as well, so. that
And
was-
obviously I didn't
No.
go through them.
Last year.
Like, last year like I
Right,
did.
right,
this
I get it, I understand.
You know,
Right.
Kevin, you mentioned the time in elementary school, and I did notice it as at 3:05, but do we not release at 3? Do we have to make? Is Joanne's there?
It's staggered,
Okay.
so.
Well, just wondering, because if we have it on there, but the parents pick up at 3? Is that how we do it right now? It's just no?
It's really parent pickup 3:05, 3:10, typically after bus departure, so
Okay.
3:10. We just have 3:05 as kind of a middle
Middle,
ground.
got
And
it,
then
okay.
I think we said in somewhere in there, like the exact details, like will be provided, before the start of the school year, cause it
Got it.
is staggered,
Okay.
yeah.
That's all I have.
All right. And I'm wondering, Amy, on your middle school question, just putting this promotion policy is reviewed with all students at the beginning of the school year. Have we not maybe been doing it, and it's always been posted to the district website for a period of time, where they just been doing that now? Right?
So if you go to that point.
Where are we trying to go? Middle school?
Yeah.
It'd be page 13.
Oh, the promotional, page 13.
Mhm.
Cause like it's like, so are you doing both, and have been doing the one?
Well, it
It's really
says 11
slow.
there, but it's really 13.
The formatting issue that you're seeing is, do you remember the old handbook was not like or uniform like the other ones?
Uh-huh.
They were in columns, if you remember the old one. So we tried to make it very similar to the other handbooks, just for consistency, and it's all formatted and all defunct. So we'll go back and clean it up. As far as the promotion policy posted to the district website, whenever we meet with parents on concerns about promotion, that's where we go, so we thought it was a little bit redundant.
And see all them
If it's
extra
a-
spaces in that whole
That's what you-
paragraph? I mean,
Well,
there and over there.
but that's gonna be the case if you're doing,
Going from a PDF to a Google Doc.
well, but also, yes,
But
but
they're
also.
all not like that. 'Cause
Right,
look at the next
so this
one.
paragraph
It's the
is,
full
I forgot what it's
justification.
called,
Full
but
justification.
justification,
Yeah.
whereas the other ones aren't.
Some
so.
are, some aren't. I mean, it's
that's
just the
right.
So
whole
they're saying just
formatting is.
comparable formatting throughout.
Yep.
And we are still printing all these out, correct? And giving kids,
So
A planner?
the handbook goes into the planner.
okay.
Do we print oh, sorry.
The handbook is signed electronically when they come in to sign the documents or
Students,
I'm sure
parents.
that there's a form, like whether they want it in a hard copy or in the planner too. Okay, okay. The beginning of the year was a very much so a whirlwind, so I don't really remember exactly what was done.
I don't know why.
The electronic forms that they come in and sign, this is part of that.
So your questions were related to formatting, grammar,
Page number.
page numbers, but you also had a question or two of questions related to why. And so are
Why
you, why did we make the change, for example, just one example to the tardy thing, right?
Oh.
Wanting to get some clarity around whether there should be that gap plugged in the policy or in the handbook language. Are you advocating to one or more board members to not vote for the motion?
Oh, you mean for a change?
So, well, because we have a motion and a second to approve this, the handbooks as they were presented. Now, generally, of course, I would think that, you know, the staff will just go back and make the
Yeah.
editorial corrections.
Yep.
That's what you're really asking for,
And the
right?
map.
And the map.
Right.
Yep.
Once we get the
So then, do we have to rescind it and make it with the changes?
No, we can vote for it with the expectation that editorial
Okay.
corrections would be made.
There was no game changers to.
No,
I'm
I'm fine with that, yep. Okay.
Nothing policy driven.
No.
Mike?
No.
I would like to see, on the elementary, middle school, and the high school, parents added, student parent handbook. They gotta sign it. I think it'd give them a little more,
We do sign when we register as their
Yeah.
students.
Yeah, parents electronically sign.
Yeah.
they don't use this handbook at all for their, what's going on in the school?
The actual paper, I never did.
This isn't the planner, is it?
Yeah.
Goes
This
into-
is also
goes
the
into
planner?
Goes
It
into
does
the
go-
planner.
Okay, thought we had talked about this before.
Oh, and there
Oh,
was
and
another
planner.
question.
Okay,
We took
thank you.
out the, school calendar out of one of them, I don't remember which one it was.
Well, it's on the back of the elementary one.
Yeah, it's in the elementary, but I,
We took it out
you took it out of the middle school?
because it's on the website. We can add that.
Oh, okay.
So what you're saying then, they're not consistent, then you have it in two and not the
Yeah,
third,
we
correct?
can put it in.
I was gonna say, keep them consistent probably.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13H, discussion and possible decision, approval of employee benefits for the 2023-2024 school year. Oh, did I skip
Yeah,
something?
you're-
No,
You're,
that's,
yeah, that was our agenda setting.
Oh, sorry.
We pushed
Oh,
that,
that's being pushed back a month.
we pushed that a month, yes.
I think you're just missing Mike and Matt too much already.
No, I'm reading from my papers.
Yep.
Discussion, so the correct item 13H. Discussion and possible decision, update of board policies.
Very good.
Yep, I have detailed notes. Amy and I met with our Neola representative for multiple hours in order to prep for this meeting. I have some overview notes. There's a really good overview in O1, the O1 link and overview at the very top.
Okay.
They do a very good job of updates in terms of legal pieces. I will do a summary of the overview. Some of the big things in the overview that are listed, curriculum development, there's some language issues, DPI regulations, and curriculum development. There's also recommendations in 2220, adoptions of the course of studies. Other bigger things is special observance days. They do reference the DPI when they did this update, so you'll see links in one of this policy, 2221, references, for example, specifies September 11th as a special observance day, so that sort of thing. District-sponsored clubs, this is one we spent a little bit of time on with our Neola representative, 2430, and we can jump into these in detail once I finish the quick overview. This has to do with our logo, the district logo, and it can be used with our clubs, but not outside organizations. So I thought that was a very good policy in order to have specifics about the usage of the district logo. Some specifics, you'll see quite a bit about tobacco and nicotine revisions. And this talks about references to not just smoking, but marijuana and hemp derivatives. This revision is recommended for consistency. You'll see this come up again in some later policies about that. Some truancy aspects, 5200, key terms, talks about enrollment termination provisions, which essentially means that if somebody is open enrolled, they wanted to clarify open enrollment, and that truancy is a factor that can lead to end of open enrollment for those that are open enrolled. It's a fine point, we're aware of it. It does come up sometimes. Couple other things, medication distribution. This was actually a major change. It looks small here, it's 5330. We spent quite a bit of time on medication and emergency care. Specifically, the language change had to do with storage of medication. The revision is recommending a consistency and a change, and essentially what they were talking about in my notes was that instead of a locked place that nobody can get to, the medications had to be regularly accessible. So that policy change was actually a way to make sure that students' medications that are being kept are readily available. So it's a positive to make sure that these medications are readily available. Promotion, 5410, promotion, placement, and retention. Specifically in this area, this talks about, these are recommended to stay consistent with state statute, about drafting notes, toolkits for how we go about setting up those parameters. You can see that tobacco and nicotine for students under 5512, it are updates in the same way for staff as for students. So that's where that piece falls in. One piece that I want to be clear about search and seizure, 5771 is revised and provides additional options for frequency of inspections and updated statutory references. What this means is that there's more authority being given to the superintendent or the administrators that work for the superintendent to search non-district students or adults. Think about prom. Somebody's coming to prom, but they're not one of our students. That's what this is referencing, 5771, okay? It was an interesting addition, something that it seemed logical once we got into the conversation. There's a facility security, so safety and security, 7440, talks about a court case, the state versus Vang, 398, Wisconsin, Appeals Court 2021. So this is a legal change that has to do with non-student visitors or vehicles on school property. Obviously, it's legally recommended. Epidemics and pandemics, we spent a little bit of time now on, especially given our now coming to the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. Transportation. We'll jump into a few of these that we have marked as well. If we can jump to the main document, Christy, there you go. If you could go down, and then any other policies, obviously. Just like we've previously done, everything that's labeled L, legal or statute changes, are just that. I mean, they're changes that we're making to policy because the law has changed or federally, or there's some sort of statute or something like that. T is technical corrections. There could be a pronoun change, or the to that, or that kind of thing. So that's what a T is when you see it in the line over there. R is recommended revisions to clarify. I want to drop down to 3 of them in particular that are listed as requested change or reference. The first one would be 4162. 4162. So if we want to jump into that policy a little bit, this is recommended. If you drop down, this has to do with the changes have to do with staff transporting students And it just has to do with current laws. And if you're transporting students, of course, none of our staff would do this, but it's not currently in policy. All we're doing is establishing a policy that you wouldn't be under the influence of these things. So that's what this is saying. That staff regularly transport students. We're actually doing it every day right now because of the culvert, the KK closed down. So, you know, we're doing it, and yeah, you live over there, and it's a rough thing for those up KK. But we're actually transporting students more now just to kind of help the bus company with areas they can't get to. So this is just making it clear in policy that, you know, you can't do this, and these sorts of things are possible if you're transporting students, if you're somebody that transports students. Questions about 4162 at all? Okay, so this is something we spent a little bit of time on. And requested change, if we go to 5610.02, which is in-school discipline.
What number is that, I'm sorry? 5610.02. So this is an important point that when I was a principal or our staff do this, teachers and principals do this all the time. I'm going to give the overview and then you can see what this actually means. That if there's going to be like a detention or some sort of restriction in school or that kind of thing, the first thing is it's at the discretion of the principal, but also vice principal, dean of students. That's what we have in our district as well, which is great. So we want those delineated. But also, if a student is detained, that last part has to do with the student's parent must be contacted, and if there's no transportation, that staff are staying with the student. We do that anyway, but the Neola rep was like, we want to make sure that that's understood clearly in your policies. So it made sense when we were talking through it. We do this, like for example at prom, you know, there's always going to be, or any dance that, you know, there's always going to be, oh, you know, something, whatever, parent is 20 minutes late, no problem. We're going to stay with the student. It's that sort of thing. This is specifically talking about discipline. So any questions about that? This will happen if there's an issue on a bus, for example, or they can't go on a bus. You know, what's going to happen at the end of the day in terms of getting the student from where they are if there's no transport. So it's logical once you read it and you understand the context, but that's what this is about. Questions about that one? Other chains, transportation for field and other district-sponsored events, 8640. This change is actually meant to help with our need for bus drivers, right? So in a lot of cases, our bus drivers bring their students with, and we encourage it.
Children.
Sorry, children. So their own, the bus driver's children. And what this is doing is making sure that it's in policy that is written. So other children are not allowed to ride, but with the exception of the bus driver's children. We do want to make sure that that's in policy, because people ask about it. Hey, why can't my kid go? Their kid is there. Well, wait a minute. We need these bus drivers. We need the bus drivers, and we can't have them having to, who's going to care for their child sort of thing. So it's an important piece to be in policy. Questions? Other questions at all about any of the policies? I have detailed notes and I'm happy to 5330, we talked quite a bit about Tylenol, Claritin, and over-the-counter medication, that we do allow these things, but we're going to follow the package distribution rules. Because sometimes parents said, nope, my kid's like if it's my mom, she'd say, he's a big kid, give him 6 of those. And the nurse will go, no, not 6, that's bad for his liver, which it is. So don't do that. So that kind of thing. So I think that's good to have in policy. That's 5330. Yeah, well, we had a good discussion about it. Because some parents, that's okay. I mean, they'll have an opinion about an amount of dosage. We just want to make sure that our nurses, they're going to follow what it says. Yeah.
So you give it the one that's bad for your kidney because you have 2 of those, right?
Okay. But it was a good part of the discussion that we had. Questions?
Any questions? Seek a
I'll
motion
make a
and a
motion to
second.
approve the updated board policies
I'll second it.
and first readings of one. I'm counting out loud. Two new first readings. Well, which will come back in May for a second reading.
Right.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hanson, second by Zebro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, I had to look up there. 14A, WASB report.
All right,
Mrs.
and
Zebro.
that takes us to, which we were discussing before, there is a, where did I put it? There is a session for the new school board members, and that is on Wednesday. I don't know where to put it. But anyway, yes, that is on Wednesday in Marathon at 7 to 9, if anybody's,
Next week, Wednesday?
yep, no. Wait, Wednesday 19th, that's
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, don't confuse me, I don't know what day it is. Yes, so there is that marathon, if the two
Are
new
they
board.
aware of it?
David?
They would have gotten the mailer from the
That's-
WASB.
Okay.
I've been reminded.
Okay, yes, and you don't have to sign up, but.
No.
Right, there's no signage on that.
Well, current school board members can go to that too,
Can they?
Right. Yes.
so they could go together.
Yeah, there.
One could buy dinner.
There was a look
One
there.
could drive and one could, and also then,
There was a look there, Mike.
I wasn't suggesting it, I was just,
okay, then there is a workshop. The spring workshop is in Tomahawk this year on, that's Thursday, May 18th. And there is a dinner and that, so whoever ever wants to go to that, can. They have the CISA for each, one's in West Salem, Chippewa Falls, ours is in Tomahawk.
although you're able to go to any one in case you have
Yes,
a
you're right,
conflict.
yep, right.
Right.
They're held wherever
there's a
you just
leadership-
sign up, yep.
The leadership one too, right, the statewide one?
Mm,
That's already been promoted. Forgot where it was, but.
Okay, oh, and then I also wanted to ask David if anybody, did we ever interested in being down at the state convention with our bands or with our choir?
I've not broached it with him, but
Okay.
we can.
Cause I always get that too, and I
Yeah.
know we have an outstanding band and we have outstanding. Mhm. So, that's always, something we can look, I don't know if they have time or if they've set it up already, but. So yeah, that's all I have, and you had one too, I think, right, Kevin? You said there was another one that I forgot,
The
Yeah.
statewide one,
Yeah.
I don't remember the date, but
Okay.
I thought
Do you
that
know
came
any-
out already.
That capital chat thing?
Well, there's one in Green Bay that's coming up.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have
That's
that
all right.
with me.
That's
Okay,
all right.
that concludes
All right,
I've been
Mr. Kaiser, your last opportunity to
really whip it up.
talk about CISA 9 report.
Yes, this is dated Wednesday, March 1st of 2023, the CISA 9 report. You can read through it, but the one thing I really found interesting is Athens got $500,000 for its virtual school there in the Maple School. And so,
Oh, the Maple Grove.
Maple Grove?
Yeah, that's the school that came from Merrill.
Merrill.
Yeah,
This is
Up by the-
Yeah.
from
yeah.
That's
from
our,
family.
there's a lot with that, but yes.
I rest my case.
Best report ever. There you go.
Future agenda items. Item 15.
I have band choir state convention.
Okay, yeah, I,
So
if
we'll have it
the,
on.
yep,
I'll check in.
okay.
I didn't go and look at the policy on this topic, but maybe you already have a policy that allows for it. But every year the NASB has a national conference also.
Yes, they do.
And so maybe visiting that topic at some point.
Okay.
Is that where you got the multi-age that you was from that one? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Those are good ones.
We usually had, it was a rotation. You couldn't go in your first year and you couldn't go in your last year. So it was 3 board members at a time to be, it is already, thank you, Peter.
I'm almost positive it is.
Thank you, I didn't remember if it was.
Is it?
Obviously, I mean,
think so.
the last 4 years, a lot of them were canceled,
Yeah,
so.
it is.
but,
I'll bring it back in May.
Yeah, okay.
Just to revisit that
That one.
and maybe identify what events are, and it's not just the NASB conference also. There's a technology conference, there's a curriculum, there's several different entities that have
Right.
meetings. Some things that have been discussed in the curriculum committee.
The curriculum would usually be ASCD,
Yeah.
so I know Rob and I both belong to,
On the late start schools
right?
thing in Minnesota, that type of thing.
Okay.
So. Okay, any other future agenda items?
Oh, ad hoc committees,
Ad hoc committees.
the safety, you wanna bring that update, I know we,
Well, I think the new, as the chair, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not planning a ad hoc committee of the safety committee between now and Monday, are you?
Correct.
Okay, and is the ad hoc committee for the athletic, the
Coach's handbook?
co-curricular committee, are you guys meeting between now and then?
Between now and Monday?
Between now and Monday?
No.
Okay, so I think that that would be the prerogative of whoever the officers are starting Monday night.
Right.
It seems to me.
Yep.
Okay,
Monday, you said at 5 o'clock?
that's for the new people.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock for us.
Thank you, I got,
Yeah, the 2 new board
Somebody
members.
better-
If you come at 5, we'll be sure you're here.
You
You won't be late.
you'd like to meet.
If you're not here at 5, we're all gonna text you.
They probably would, I'm probably.
You'd like to meet with Amy and I and the 2 new board members.
I can go over it with me, I
Right.
may need a
Right.
refresher.
You should wear all your.
All your
All
pins,
my pins, right.
all your bling.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah, it's been crazy.
All right, item 16, movement into closed executive session. The board will convene into closed executive session pursuant to section 19.85, parent 1, parent C of the state statute for the purpose of discussing and approving performance evaluation data and compensation for the 2023-24 school year for administrative staff, and section 19.85 1G for the purpose of conferring and or updating advice from legal counsel.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Hanson, a second by Gorman. Roll call, please.
Hanson?
Yes.
Hermning?
Yes.
Kaiser?
Yes.
Maple? Yes. Stankowski? Yes. Zebro?